Alright, time to add some fingers. Fingers are fun, and they're going to show off a feature that I think is really important and quite useful. So what I'd probably want to do is just establish a little bit of the volume and shape. So I'm going to make sure symmetry is on. I'm going to use the move brush, and we're just going to establish the wedge of the hand a little bit. You may want to go in and establish some of the other hits, like just get the radius, get the ulna in there. Let's just start to separate out the bony part of the wrist. It's a really easy trick in the beginning part. You just kind of separate this out. I'm not doing the thumb in this. I'm going to do the thumb with the insert brushes that we've been using. So I'm taking a moment to just carve this back to a very simple plane, something that'll be very easy for me to work with moving forward. Okay, it's going to be good enough. Well, not yet. Move that down. Okay, let's turn this on and just say the overall hand is going to be about 0.75 heads, and half of that is the carpals, the metacarpals, and the phalanges. So I've got that measurement. That means I got to pull this up a bit. There we go. It already looks better. And now I'm going to come in with Curve Tube, just like we did with the leg and with the hand. And we're going to come in and lower our draw size so that we can basically fit 1, 2, 3, 4 of those fingers. Grab from the bottom and drag down, making sure that we're roughly at the size, the same height, and not height, but yeah, the same height, let's say, as the carpals and metacarpals. Okay, so that's roughly accurate. But I've got bend on, so why don't I come in here and bend this a little bit? So I'm going to grab the end point. Let's adjust that draw size slightly. And let's establish a little bend here for our first knuckle and our second knuckle. There. And that'll help. Increase that a bit. Oops, too much. There we go. And really make sure it's inserted in there. Good. Alright, now for the next trick. We're going to press this button that's grayed out right now. It's called Snapshot. Okay, it's a lot like Snapshot when you snapshot it to canvas. You click that, and then now you can move your curved tubes. You've got one down, and you got another one to adjust. Only I don't want to bend it. Now that I've actually bent it into shape, I don't want to bend it again. I just want to select it and move it. Okay, adjust the size again. In this one, I might want to adjust the end point, to get that middle finger a little longer. Snapshot it, drag it over, and this one I'm going to push in a little bit. Or maybe pushing in is not the best option because of where the knuckle is. But I'm going to grab the end and make it smaller. Yeah, something like that. Try to keep in mind the curvature here, although we've already kind of lost a little bit of it. So we'll just keep moving. Snapshot. And now for that crazy pinky. I don't know if your pinkies are like mine, but pinkies are always the really messed up ones. And there we go. Okay. So that's looking alright. Now I'm going to turn floor off, clear the mask, and I want to adjust this a little bit. I'm going to get these guys a little closer to each other. and keep the flat plane as much as I can right now. There is a time to change that and get rid of it, but right now I want to keep things as geometric as possible. Oops. Trim dynamic got a little nuts. It does that with parts of the model that interpenetrate. So it's sometimes better to use H polish, because that's a lot less sensitive. Alright, Control, click and drag, and we've now added fingers to our guy. Okay, and then the next thing we need to do is add the thumb. So for the thumb, I'm going to use the same thing, Curve Tube. I'm going to pull out, make sure it's a really small draw size. Let's redo that. Boom, boom. There we go. And bend is off. I don't need that on. I'm going to adjust it and move it here and then tilt it in and make sure that we know it's coming not straight on. So for example, it's not going to, well, it really is going to come from the side plane. Let's just leave it like that. And then the rest. So I'm coming at the side plane, although a little bit towards the end. There we go. And make sure it's intersecting. Turn bend on and you can kind of adjust that center point a bit. So we need the metacarpal to have some form, and then we need the phalange to have two. So a little hit. There we go. Okay. Pull it in. And let's insert a sphere for the palm fat pad. And I'm going to use Shift and just smooth this guy out. Really large draw size. And move to shape it. Now, this is a little overkill in my mind, but I really like the way that this simplifies the thinking process down into these simple shapes. You know, you just have to think about the fat pad here, and the way that it connects is simple but accurate. So Control, click and drag, Control, click and drag, and we're on our way to sculpting. We've got a base mesh, and we're ready to really take this body to the next level. And last thing I think I might do for the hands is establish the curvature of the bridge as opposed to the way they are right now, which is straight. So that's relatively simple. It's just the move brush and you pull up in the center. Lower your draw size. There you go. And there we go. Alright. Lots more sculpting to do, but that's, you know, that's what we're here to do. But right now, I would say we have a base mesh, and we have created the base mesh using Dynamesh and this new insert brush and the new curve features, which in and of itself is really cool. Now, there's a lot of ways to create the base mesh. This is one of them. Z-spheres are another, and Maya Max or XSI are another. ZBrush is agnostic. Bring in anything and you can sculpt it. But this is a really special treat to kind of get in and build this from these little Lego parts. Hope you enjoyed.